This is Inside the Leader's Mind, where what's in the way becomes the way. And I'm your host, David Suson. I'm so excited to have my guest today, Nabeel, I already messed up, Nabeel Mahmood. He's a globally recognized futurist and one of the top 10 influencers shaping the world of technology and digital infrastructure. For more than 25 years, he's worked across AI, cybersecurity, automation, and data centers, advising global companies and boards on how to prepare for the future that's already arriving. He's also the co-founder of Nomad Futurist. They're a nonprofit creating free pathways into tech through education, internships, and real career opportunities. As a keynote speaker, Nabil is known for challenging the belief that AI replaces people. Instead, he argues it can expand human purpose, creativity, and opportunity. But his mission became personal after surviving 3 heart attacks and being legally dead twice. That experience changed everything and pushed him to focus on impact, humanity, and leaving the world a better place than he found it. Today, he's helping leaders rethink the future of work and the role we all play in shaping it. Nabeel, welcome to Inside the Leader's Mind.
Well, thank you for having me, David. And that was quite an introduction. I really, I'm humbled by what you said. It's kind of sort of like being on the stage as Tiger Woods. Like, you've got all these trophies, but I believe this is just the beginning of time, and I'm just trying to do my part to make it better.
I love that, and thank you for being with me today. I want to start just by I want to go into some of the things you said that were said in the introduction. But to get started, just tell me a little bit about what you do currently, and then we'll dig in.
So my passion, of course, like you mentioned, is Nomad Futurist, which is a non-profit 501c3 organization. We started roughly about 3 years ago with the idea of demystifying technology for the masses and creating this awareness globally as to what the future of technology is. I mean, bits and bytes are now available at our fingertips. Everything that we do today is really reliant on technology, and that's becoming our DNA as we move forward. So we want to simplify that, but also address the false narrative that media and other platforms continue to share for their own personal gains or driving the stock market. So that's become a real passion of mine. Having 2 young children, entering the practical or the workforce over here soon, it's also actually created that sense of urgency that we need to get in front of the right audience as to what the potential future is, what really is technology, what it's supposed to be doing, and how do we create a social accord that can help scale up as we look forward, whilst addressing, the climate and other challenges that we have started to foresee now. Besides that, we want to make sure that, we are developing a framework that is not just scalable, but also sustainable. So ensuring that we've got the right unit of measure, standardization, and the ability to question the norm, the so-called norm, whereby are we measuring the right thing? Are we accounting for the right thing and not it becoming just another Band-Aid, as we currently see with carbon accounting? What my day-to-day job is, I serve on multiple boards for organizations that are involved in technology space and or finance, from a publicly traded bank to companies that are involved in designing, building, and operating data centers to NLP, large language models, cybersecurity, so on and so forth. So do some consulting work around that as well, globally.
It's a shame that you're not very busy.
No, not at all.
Oh my gosh, you got your hand in everything. Okay, I want to go, let's rewind the clock a little bit. How did you get to where you're at today?
That's
Like,
a very
what
interesting
led you to
question.
this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a chain of events, right? I mean, I wish I had that magic 8 ball and it became a passion a lot earlier in my life, but unfortunately, the educational sector wasn't really designed to get me to where I'm at today. And as a matter of fact, the way I look at it today, it's still not designed to get us to where we need to get to. the educational sector has not changed since the second industrial revolution, and we are entering the fifth. So let's step back in time just for a bit, right? So in my O levels, I was sort of like forced to take mathematics, statistics, language, so on and so forth, and there wasn't really anything about innovation or computer science, computer engineering, or just how do we build infrastructure for tomorrow? So we're still teaching mathematics, we're still teaching history, we're still teaching literature, so on and so forth. Now, they're important, but we're not planting seeds for tomorrow as to what's to come. Now, I did take a C++ class in my O levels, and that was absolutely mind-boggling. Like, okay, so it's not exciting at all, and I'm going to sit in front of a green screen for the rest of my life, and that's boring. It's not intuitive. 5 minutes into it, done, out of here. Mathematics is actually a much better route to take, so I pursued that. How did I fall into where I'm at today? It's just a chain of events, right? So I moved to America in the late 90s, ended up having a conversation with some folks, that were in the tech space, and my visual arts, my mathematics background, all about it being an experience actually helped me get into that space, just being an extrovert. So it was being a technologist by an accidental conversation, not a technologist by education. And then, of course, you learn, throughout your life and your career. The key takeaway was that if I was not an extrovert, if I did not have a good enough foundation to be able to connect dots, I wouldn't be where I'm at today in my life. And, as we established Nomad Futurist, the idea had been is to create that level of interest early on, because we are all users of technology in some capacity, and make it simple enough whereby it's an experience of learning another language, such as models like Duolingo and others have done, that it creates that ease for people to come into the space and, not feel threatened or that they're not good enough to learn something new, and simplifying that experience. And then that leads into endless possibilities. I mean, I never thought that I would be actually having conversations with electrical, mechanical, structural engineers, and then having conversations with data scientists and people designing large language models pertaining to large data sets and natural or neurological language processing. But it all came through a relatively decent foundation with mathematics, with it being binary and a bunch of ones and zeros and trying to make sense. So again, to answer the question, just right place, right time, right opportunity, and a relatively decent foundation in connecting the dots.
So, boy, there's a lot to unpack in these answers here. For some, and you touched on it, but let's put it in super simple terms, because you've talked about the Nomad Futurist. Let's start with, just for someone who's never heard of it, brand new, what do they actually do for people? Or for kids, or who's the audience, who's it targeted toward, and what does it do?
So Nomad Futurist, in a layman's term, is established to demystify technology, to make it user-friendly, where the layers of complications that we're creating can be understood at any level, at any age. And then alongside with that, we have created an academy that's a free resource for people to come into our sector. So the way it's designed is that we've got K through 12 as a focus, we've got higher education as a focus, and we've got the career changes as a focus as industries around us continue to shrink. But foundationally, you start at the basics. So what is data is, a module 101. Like, what does it do? Where do you use it? So you play Roblox, you surf the web. Okay, so how does that foundation layer start? Where does that start, right? So we are leading into real estate, it's leading into structural civil engineering, it's leading into electrical, mechanical, structural, into the technology stack, the application stack, security, finance, so on and so forth. So the way we have defined is that it's horizontal and vertical learning. So every single core element that can give you that user experience, such as even this over here, this video interaction and recording that we have, Where does it reside? Where does it domicile? How does it work? How do you create this video experience, this virtual experience? How do you capture information? How you share information, so on and so forth. So foundationally, what is data? And then all the connected elements to the data of owning, moving the data across the world.
Is this, so like I said, to demystify technology, is it, and you said it's free?
Yes.
Free education.
Correct. I know. I mean, it's oxymoron, but
Yes, it is.
in your introduction, I'm of a firm belief that education should be accessible and available, particularly to people that will actually never have an opportunity, and that's the only way we can help improve the human race. Where
So I would, but I want to, and maybe that's about what you're going to say, but I wanted to clarify this question for the people that are listening or watching. What is the problem in the world that made you say someone's got to fix it, and why you?
the problem in the world always, I mean, through history has been the lack of education. People don't know what they don't know, and they get sucked into these biases for people that are in power or decision makers or influencers that are promoting a narrative for their own personal growth or gain, that 99% of the population doesn't know what they're doing, and they end up developing this bias for one or the other person or party. So I am of the firm belief that everyone should know, everyone should be made aware of, that there is an opportunity, that they actually are equally responsible to contribute to the change of the world or the betterment of the world.
Was there a moment in time? Was there an incident that prompted this, where you got this wake up call and said, "I need to be the one that does this"?
I mean, again, it's been a chain of events. I mean, 3 heart attacks, major life experiences and changes, and the fact that the society sucked me in for somebody that I wasn't, to somebody that I am. Um, life is very simple. I mean, we need to be good to each other, and then everyone else is going to be good to us. If we take care of each other, then everyone else is going to take care of us. So it's a give and take relationship. It's not take, 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 take. So the moment for me was really the first time I actually had my heart attack, that, oh, wow, I have zero control over it. And the only thing that I've done so far is suck and take, to have a quality of life that is what the society tells us to have, versus a quality of life that should be shared with everybody, and everyone should be given an opportunity. I mean, you and I are having this conversation, I believe we are less than that 0.001% of the population that can actually have this experience and have these conversations. 99.999% of the people around the world would never know. They would never have an opportunity in life, and they might not ever be able to contribute because they are the ones that are struggling and suffering. So I am of the firm belief that if we actually expose where we are today and what the future might hold, there will be an interest from, underserved, underprint communities, that there might be some genius sitting out there that could potentially do good for the human race, and hopefully give us a little bit longer time on the planet, versus what we are getting into with the climate challenges and the social challenges that we've experienced in the last decade.
Were you, before the heart attack, were you like this? Were this altruistic, save the world, help others? Or were you a little more, I don't want to put words in your mouth, maybe more selfish? And after the heart attack, was that really the awakening? Or was this just kind of, it was already there, it just kind of spurred it on? Or something else, you know?
Oh, I mean, it's certainly a combination of things. I think so. One of my theories that I've developed is that every decade we are a better version of ourselves, or a different version of ourselves. Hopefully, a better version of ourselves. And then I've also learned this the hard way, that there is this outer persona that society enforces on us, and then there's this true inner persona that never actually gets an opportunity to come out because we're trying to keep up with the Joneses. So when I moved to the United States, I mean, it being a very material society kind of sucked me into this. So it killed my inner persona. It killed the true Nabil. and for a couple of decades, I did become a little bit selfish. I mean, I cared more about what I drove, where I lived, what I ate, versus what my neighbors were doing and what people around me were doing, or how their life was. So, yeah, the health scare did really, give a new outlook. And even then, after that, I mean, it took a bit of a time to figure out what am I doing. I mean, I packed my bags and moved my family from mainland America to Hawaii with zero plan. And the only plan that I had was I got to figure out what my purpose in life is. What am I supposed to be doing? I mean, you know, how much do you need to eat? How much can you put on your plate? I mean, life is not a bloody buffet. Leave it for some other people as well. I mean, you can only consume so much. What are you going to do with the rest? We waste it. So why waste? Share it.
Love that. I love that philosophy. And it's amazing that you have come around. That's the wrong word, but come to that point. As you've done the work you've done, are there any stories or outcomes that really stick out in your mind that remind you that the work you do really matters? Meaning outside of yourself,
Oh, I mean,
results you've
seriously,
seen, outcomes.
yeah, I mean, it's just sometimes you get these messages from people all around the world, like how much of an impact it has had in the last 3 years that we have actually gone public with the charter. I mean, that's very, very encouraging and very exciting. So yeah, there's plenty of stories. It's just the smiles to see on these families, to get invited to places around the world, not just to go on and do speaking engagements, but to get invited to people's homes. It's absolutely amazing. Recently, my daughter and we just came back from New Zealand. I actually did a keynote out in New Zealand at Cloud and Data Center Convention. And the next thing you know, that her and I are getting invited, and she's 16. Her and I are getting invited to a couple of people's homes that wanted us to meet their extended family and talk to their kids one-on-one. And, hearing that their kids actually just wanted to hang out with this old guy, learning about my experiences and sharing what the future is and what they should potentially be considering as for their career paths or just general pathways in life, and them staying through these extensive, couple of hour long conversation was like, wow, that's absolutely amazing. And to hear from the parents that their own kids don't even typically stay with their own friends for more than 30 minutes, and then they're hanging out with me for a couple hours, and that probably impacted their lives. So that, and then looking around and seeing young kids finding their pathways, getting into careers and finding jobs and establishing themselves. I mean, those are great stories and great experiences. And then especially, going into underserved communities. So, for instance, we recently launched a program in Kenya. And for companies locally, they're seeing what we are doing, providing these platforms with education and a pathway, and then them stepping up and contributing and saying, hey, you know what, you guys and gals, you go through the Nomad Futurist Academy, you get a base understanding, there is an internship waiting for you, there is a job waiting for you, and seeing that happen on a real-time basis is very exciting and rewarding.
That's a remarkable. As you think about the impact you're making and the change that you're making, let's say in the world, what, as you look at listeners, leaders, what advice would you have for them based on your experience that could make an impact in their organizations or them as human beings?
My dad used to say, tomorrow never comes. And I've added to it. And that is that if you choose to live today to the fullest and you get an opportunity to live tomorrow, live to the fullest today, right? For leaders, I believe that everyone's heart is in the right place and everyone wants to contribute and give back. But we are waiting. We are all waiting. We are waiting to retire. We are waiting for that extra dollar in our pocket. But tomorrow is never going to come. And my ask has been to give that 1% today. Don't wait till tomorrow. And then 1% doesn't need to be money. That 1% is, experiences that you've accumulated, the tribal knowledge that you've accumulated over your life, over your career. Share that. Don't wait till tomorrow to give back. Do it today. It's just that 1%. And you can give that 1% today. And it could be any way, form, or shape. Be the voice. It's as simple as that. Be the voice. Just do good things. Just be kind to people. Just be good in general.
So let's say you wanted to break that down to a simple step, like a concrete, here's something that someone could do, one or some ideas. Because oftentimes we hear this, we're like, oh, it sounds good, but I don't really know what that looks like. Give me an example of what that might look like for a leader that they could just take the first step
Well,
in this direction.
let's start being of the voice, right? So educate yourself. Here's a platform, Nomad Futurist, that's got a free academy, a free learning management system, and a platform. Go register over there today. Sign up. Get free education. Let's help you scale up personally and professionally. That could be one step. That's your being a voice. You are a seasoned executive and you have established subject matter expertise in a particular domain that you think is going to add value to the community and the society. Share that knowledge base with us. That is that 1%. So it doesn't take long. I mean, if you cannot invest personal time, then find somebody else that can be your representation and your voice. And collaborate and reach out. And it's not just Nomad Futurists as, self-promoting or here as a non-profit organization, but there's plenty of other great charters around the world. Reach out to them, work with them, give that 1%, being a voice, being a collaborator, being a contributor. And of course, we live in a very monetary society and money helps. So far we have built a platform, on our own. We've contributed to all the platforms, to the reach globally on our own. If you can't contribute in other domains, donate money. That's the easy give. That's the easy ask.
Just doing something. How do we get people to take action without them having to have a heart attack or near death or death experience? Like, I get it. It's like, but how do you get them to move off center? What are some thoughts or motivation or something that might get someone to actually, after they hear this, literally take action within 24 hours?
Well, I wish I had an answer for that, and I'll be like Tony Robbins. But
There you go.
yeah, a lot of
Heart attack is a good motivator, but
exactly.
we don't
But
want to.
that's not.
We don't want. No, we don't want that.
No.
We don't want that. And
Yeah.
it's so funny. I got to tell you, I have a number of people I've interviewed and people I've met, and after near death, heart attack, it changes who they are. And every single person has said to me, it's a shame that's what it took for the wake up. And that's what I look at is how do we create change in an organization without that? So I would love your 2 cents. And if you seriously have some ideas that gets people
Well,
to motivate off center.
yes. Of course, there's a couple of things, right? Smart people learn from other people's experiences and mistakes,
Yeah.
and I also believe, it was a major transformation in mine as well. I've heard about it. I didn't deploy it personally till it happened to me. And I think a part of the challenge was that the narrative, like it become this stereotypical oxymoron thing that, well, yeah, we're going to die, right? But I'm untouchable right now.
Yeah.
And it was never potentially positioned or presented in a way that it was touching. So what I've done personally is that I've put myself out there. I'm being extremely vulnerable, right? And extremely, extremely out of my comfort zone. This wasn't me. I never shared anything personal with anyone. So now I'm willing to be vulnerable and share my life experiences. And, hopefully people can find that connection along the way, that they feel comfortable and that it's not just another gimmick that I'm trying to sell something to someone. I am not trying to sell anything to anyone. I'm not, as a matter of fact, even with the foundation, I've never, ever, ever, ever asked for anyone to give me any money. I put my money where my mouth is. So lead by example. If you do the right thing, good things are going to happen to you. If you are a leader and you believe in a cause, do it. Don't sell vaporware, just do it. And at the end of the day, I mean, we have a very limited time here on this planet. We've got a very limited time with our friends and family. So do the best that you can and be the best version of yourself. That's all
and
what I can
start
say. Yeah, and
and
start
start
now.
today because yeah, one of the things I always say to people when I get in these dialogues is I say, so what's the date you're going to pass? What's the date you're going to have a heart attack? Oh, no, I'm in good
Mhm.
health. Great. So what is the date you're going to die? Well, I don't know. Well, how do you know it's not tomorrow? Well, I'm good health.
Yeah.
Okay, then next week. Well, I don't know. And what they do is they start thinking about it. They, it, I think the mindset is always there's always this tomorrow, but it's this vagueness. And when it becomes real, when I dig in and I ask these questions and people realize, wait a minute, I can't predict if or when something's going to happen. Right. So why not take action now if it's important enough? And I think that's the thing is it
Hmm.
important enough? And I think the comment you made is so often it's keep up with the Joneses. It's comparing as opposed to, hey, what's the right thing? Let's be a good human and do the right thing. So,
I think it's also finding the contention. I mean, being content with what you have in life, because pursuit of money is not going to lead you anywhere. It's just this dark hole. You're always going to be wanting more, 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 and more. Whereas the pursuit of happiness gets you closer to your destiny.
yeah, it's a movie by that name with Will Smith, right?
Yeah,
Pursuit of
yeah. I
Happiness.
hopefully I did not do any copyright infringement over here.
No, I don't think so, but it's a good reminder. Go watch the movie because that's what it is. It's not about the money.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I know you've talked about in the past, and we mentioned in the intro here, we've talked about AI and technology, and there's a big impact of technology, AI with in business and leadership. What responsibility do you think leaders have in preparing people for an AI driven future?
Well, for starters, you know, artificial intelligence is artificial as a starting point. The human intelligence will never be replaced. So I think education, experience, exposure is imperative. As a leader, we need to continuously educate our existing workforce and people that we are engaged with, as well as the next generation. So education is core at the root of it all. Um, what we need to prep for tomorrow is to establish a baseline of an understanding of where we're at today, meaning that we need to get in control. I mean, it's like without human, I believe, think of AI or any technology platform as being a Formula One vehicle that can drive at 250 miles an hour. But if you don't have a human driving it, it's going to crash, or it might not drive itself. So, the education, exposure, experiences are important. We also need to make sure that we are doing things for the right reason, not just doing it to monetize. So privacy, for instance, is a major concern. Identity theft is going to become a major issue as well. So whilst educating people is important, it's also ensuring that data regulation, data sovereignty, the compliance and processes are put in place and addressed today for tomorrow.
And I know, like in the intro, you talked about so that or I mentioned in the intro that you challenge the belief that AI will replace people. Talk to me about that.
Yes, AI is never going to replace people. I mean, look at the idiosyncrasy of it. Intelligence can never be artificial. Computers are going to do what we tell them to do. It's binary. It's ones and zeros. There's black and white. There's no gray. There's always going to be a human involved in some capacity, and we're always going to be in control. It is who is it, right? So if you go through history, it's always been human that's promoted any religion, any belief, and conquered the world. I mean, things just don't automatically happen. There's somebody behind that, and in artificial intelligence, the human race, as long as we are educated, then we will always be in control.
What about the argument that it is going to replace some jobs? And I think there's fear from some, and some leaders believe that's great. I can get rid of
Yeah,
a bunch of
it's
people
perfectly
and
fine.
make more
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, so artificial intelligence is nothing new. I mean, it's going to replace a lot of jobs. It's already doing that. I mean, that's obvious, right? But then again, throughout history, a lot of jobs have been eliminated. So, good example. Do you know the town whisperer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right? That was that chap
Newspapers.
that used to walk
Yeah.
around neighborhoods and say, "Hey, hey, hey," you know,
Here's what's
that
going
job got
on.
eliminated. Exactly. That
Yep.
job got
Yep.
eliminated, right? But guess what, David? Everybody now is a town whisperer. You're all on
True.
social media. You're all journalists. So does that mean that there isn't going to be journalism anymore? No, just a different means of
Different
journalism,
form. And
different
it's true.
forms.
Newspapers, right? Newspapers went away. It just
Hmm.
changes. Magazines, everything just changes. And I think it's not, it's just things are going to be different. And I think,
Exactly.
so what advice would you have for people in general as they look at change? They look at that it's going to happen.
Well, change is the only constant factor that we've got in our life. So what we did yesterday doesn't probably exist today, and it for sure is not going to exist tomorrow. So be willing to the idea of change and constant education and constant evolution. So yes, a lot of jobs are being eliminated, but a lot of jobs are being created. So though Amazon recently laid off over 30,000 people, well, they have a need for 60,000 people. They came in, the first statement was, well, that's AI driven. It's because of us deploying AI in our own little tiny world. But then again, oh, by the way, we need to hire all these people with a different skill set. So there's always going to be jobs. There's always going to be opportunities. That's just human progression. It's just going to be a different kind of a job. It's going to be a different role. So as individuals, we need to be willing to constantly learn. And again, going back to the roots, education, education, education is
Education,
important.
that's
Build a
exactly.
different
Yep.
skill set. Build a different skill
Yep.
set.
Yeah. And not be afraid to learn. I always tell people this because some people, I didn't like school and whatever. And I always bring it back to the super basics, which is this: you learned how to walk and you learned a new language from scratch, right? You
Mm-hmm.
learned how to talk. And people forget how hard those two things are, but they've mastered it. And then they look at, well, I can't learn computers and I can't. And I'm thinking, but you learned a whole language.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the expectation of there's two things. The expectation you're going to do it overnight is not realistic. And number two, and this is such a huge factor, and I'd love your opinion on this, is when we stop comparing, we'll be so much happier.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm comparing to how fast Nabil, oh, I don't have a math degree. I can't do that. Well, don't compare yourself to Nabil. Just run your own race. And
Absolutely.
just like when you learn to walk and talk, you weren't racing anyone. It wasn't a comparison to the other 1 year old, 2 year old down the street. It was just you learning on your own, and you were happy. Every time you learned a new word or took a step, you're happy.
Mm-hmm.
So when we stop comparing and we just say, look, I can learn anything. It might take me a little longer than Nabil. It might take longer than it takes David. But when you at least have the belief you can do it, but we got to stop comparing. Your 2 cents on
Absolutely.
that?
I 100% concur with you. I think a part of the challenge is the social influences and these comparisons and labels. Everyone is made of the same parts. Everyone's got the same system design. Everyone's got the same database. Everyone's got the same processing power. It's what do you do with it. So be true to yourself. Let that inner self, that inner persona be your outer representation. Don't worry about the rest of the world. You are all equally responsible and equally built with the same platform, the same roots. Be true to yourself. Be honest. Be transparent to yourself. Don't compare yourself with the rest of the world. You are you, and that's your superpower.
That I love that. And with that, I'm going to end with one more question because I can't top that. That was beautiful. Last question. What's the question you wish people would ask you, but they don't know to ask you? But secretly, you kind of wish they would because you want to tell them.
Hmm. Yeah, you put me on the spot. I mean, what's the question I want to answer? Ah, boy.
It could be about anything.
Yeah.
Could be about your life, could be about work, could be about your thought process, could be about heart attacks, could be anything.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I think typically the mind goes into what would I do differently if I know what I know today. But you
Okay.
can't really change time.
Yeah.
So the the answer would be, what do I need to do? Or the question should be, what do I need to do now based on what I know from yesterday to better the quality of life? And that would be true to yourself, find your inner self, find your passion, um, and be vulnerable. It's okay. Don't follow what everybody does. Be disruptive, be different, um, and be proud of it. Don't think about what the world says. I think you have to love yourself. And unfortunately, society puts these labels. Society influences us the wrong way, sets up the wrong expectations, whereby it creates this conflict of interest internally. Like, am I good enough to, you know what? I believe in myself. I've established a strong enough base through my education, through my experiences, and I'm going to be the best version of myself based on what I know today. And I'm willing to learn as the day comes.
Love it. Love it. That's a great way to end today. Nabeel, thank you so much for being with me. I so appreciate it. You were wonderful.
Well, thank you. Likewise, David. It's been fun.
If someone wants to learn more about your foundation or you, what's the best way for them to reach out or learn more?
Sure. So check out nomadfuturist.org, NOMADFUTURIST.org. All the social handles of Nomad Futurist as well. And then, of course, ChatGPT or Google or any other search engine, just type in Nabeel Mahmood, and I'm pretty sure you'll find me.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you again for being with me. Such a pleasure to have you today.
Likewise. Thank you for having me.
Folks, this is Inside the Leader's Mind, and I'm David Susan. If you enjoyed it, please share it. Let us know if you have guests that I should be talking to. Until then, we'll see you next time.